5 years of war, that reduced the city to rubble. Japan launched 4 major attacks on Changsha between 1939 and 1944. The area was known as China's 9th war zone during the anti-fascist war. The world's longest and largest battles occurred here, and more than 230,000 soldiers from both sides died. 70 years on, signs of the war are difficult to find at one of the key battlefields known as WWII Mountain. This cave served as then command post of the 9th War Zone headquarters. From September 1939 to January 1942, Chinese troops fought 3 campaigns against Japanese invaders. Under the command of General Xue Yue, commander of the 9th War Zone, Chinese troops made active defenses and won great victories over Japanese invaders. Especially in the 3rd Changsha campaign, when the Chinese army killed or wounded more than 56,000 Japanese soldiers. Liu Junming is now 95 years old. He was the chief radio officer in the 9th War Zone, responsible for patching radio communications from Changsha to the Kuomintang government's wartime headquarters in Chongqing. But it wasn't easy.
The Japanese once managed to receive our messages from Chongqing by disguising themselves as Chinese radio operators. They wanted to cut the connection between our rear and our front line. Soon we noticed their trick, but kept sending them fake messages to fool them and to prevent them from causing more radio disturbances.
After the fall of major cities in central and south China to Japan, only Changsha stood in Japan's way of getting to southwest China. Defending the city meant putting up barriers leading to it. 40 kilometers to the north of Changsha is Yingzhou Mountain, another major battlefield. 7 decades later, one can still see the trenches and fortifications Chinese troops used during the war. Huang Gang was a military police officer in Chongqing, but he found himself caught on the mountain during an attack.
After the second Changsha campaign, the city was severely damaged, so our commander sent us to Changsha to assist the damage evaluation team and keep order at the same time. My home was here, so I took 1 day off to see my family. But the 3rd Changsha battle started on my arrival.
Huang joined the 20th Corps of the Chinese army that was stationed on the mountain to cut off the enemy's retreat and logistical supplies. This is where the command of the Kuomintang Army's 20th Corps was stationed, but now nothing remains. Standing on what's left of the cornerstones and overlooking one of the most important transport corridors of Hunan province, it's not difficult to understand why building defenses here on the mountain was strategically important and why the battles back then were extraordinarily fierce and brutal. The mountain holds the only pass to the Japanese military base in North Hunan. The Japanese army failed again in its 3rd attempt to occupy Changsha on February 4, 1942. It was retreating north, going through Yingzhou Mountain, when the 20th Corps of the Chinese army attacked and fended off Japan's reinforcements as it annihilated the notorious Yamazaki Brigade. More than 2,000 Japanese soldiers were killed in the attack. Japan struck again 2 years later, and this time it succeeded in occupying Changsha. Huang Gang retreated to Guangxi province, while Liu Junming was badly wounded.
We were attacked by Japanese fighter planes when we retreated southwards. After the attack, I found 2 radio operators lying beside me who were killed. I was about to stand up to bury their bodies, but I found my legs were wet. I checked my legs again and saw that a bullet almost penetrated my right thigh.
Liu was lucky to survive. He chose to settle in Changsha after the war. Hundreds of thousands of others, however, died defending China, the ultimate act of patriotism and a critical part of modern China's history. WWII CCTV Changsha, Hunan Province.